I'm Claudia Kay and welcome back to my channel. Guys, got my new summer cut. I went real short on the sides, which I usually do in the summer, but took it up a little bit higher. But I didn't touch the length, and I don't know. It might, the length might need to go. I don't know. I'm figuring out how to style it. But I'm so happy to have it off because, whoo, me and the hair, we do not get along. And if I look decent with a shaved head, I would just buzz it all off. But I don't. I just look like a cancer patient in recovery. It's not a good look. So I got a haul for you guys. And this weekend was a struggle. It was a struggle. Instead of the week before, we'd gone out, my nephew and I'd gone out on Thursday garage sailing, and we really didn't find that many garage sales. So we're like, let's wait until Friday. But I had to go to UPS on Thursday, and I had to go get cat food and run an errand for my sister. So we had to see all kinds of garage sale signs, and I was unprepared to be heading to garage sales on Thursday because we had decided to go on Friday. So we stopped at, I think, 3 that day. And because like he didn't have any money, I hadn't been to the bank to get ones. And we got one item at the first garage sale. Second garage sale, their stuff was overpriced and didn't have anything for resale anyway. Third garage sale had glass on glass at, it was so expensive, you guys. So expensive. It was at like antique store prices, not even prices that I would sell on here. Now I saw a Viking candy dish in the Epic line that caught my eye, clear from the bottom of the driveway, right? Walk up to it, massive chip on it. And not like on the underside of the lid or something, massive chip, just right. So I was pretty irritated about that. I mean, you can sell items for whatever you want to sell them for. That is your right. But that was a big chip. So we didn't have any luck on Thursday, even though we stopped at a few. And then Friday we headed out, and we were also going to run by my dad's because it was his birthday. And we just were not having it. Like the first 2 we stopped at were all baby items. And I have a niece that's pregnant. You guys know that if you've been paying attention. And so I did send her back pictures of stuff and tell her what garage sale I was at so she could head over. But hadn't really found anything. And so we head over toward my mom's and ended up getting there just as she was pulling a pineapple upside down cake out of the oven, a gluten-free one. So we had pineapple upside down cake and gave my dad his present. But we didn't have a lot of luck that day. And then my niece was home and wanted to cut my hair. She didn't know we'd even left. And my nephew didn't have any more money. And so we headed back home, and I just rested the rest of the day. So I was determined to get up Saturday and go to flea market. And when I was there last time, this one they only do 8 times a month, or 8 times a year. They don't do it 12 times a year. So when I was there last time, it was amazing. So much vintage stuff, so many vendors. The building was full. This time I walked in and like a third of the building was empty. And most of it was craft people, multi-level marketing things, and I was disappointed. So I headed first to my favorite corner where they always have great items at great prices. And they had less than they normally would, but I spotted this. And you guys were like, that's nothing special. It has uranium glaze. Now, I do not have any ceramic pieces with uranium glaze in my collection as far as I can recall. And I've been on the hunt for them. And I've seen videos of, especially this pattern, because I think this pattern was made from the 1940s through the 1970s. So you'll find this pattern in like antique stores altogether, but I've seen videos where people will take their blacklight, run along, and only half the pieces will be will have the uranium glaze. The other pieces were made later on. So I was super thrilled to find this, and they're an older couple. I've gotten some really great pieces from them, and so we were talking, and I pulled out my blacklight and I showed him. He's like, "Oh, I had no idea," and I'm like, "This is the first piece of uranium glaze I've ever found." I was so excited. So got that at flea market, and got this. Can you see the teal color on that? It's one of the Coal Scuttle ashtrays. No, I could not feel any chips at all on this. And it still has its Smith sticker. Can you believe that? This one is bigger than the other coal ashtrays I've had before, Coal Scuttle ashtrays. So it's got a longer design here. The handle's a little different than the ones I've had before. Just beautiful. Just a gorgeous, this teal color. Oh, I hope you guys can see it. So pretty. And that was all I got at flea market. I was so disappointed. So I also knew that they were having a rummage sale somewhere on the fairgrounds, but they were also having a horse show. There were 3 big events happening at the same time Saturday morning. So I was in a lot of pain. And after I show you guys what I got, if you want to stick around for a little bit, I am going to talk about chronic illness some. But I was just heading back to my car. I was alone. And so this is day 3 of having to drive myself around. And it's always just a bit of a struggle for me to do any of that. It just is. So as I'm heading back to my car, I see this sign for the building. So here's my car and here's the building. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to rally. I'm going to walk through the building. And so I'm already lugging this bowl around because I didn't go back to my car, and this piece of glass. I get up to the door, and the lady hands me a bag and says, everything's, stuff the bag for one price. Because this was, I guess, the last day they were doing it. I'd wanted to go over Thursday and didn't have the energy. So I'm walking around, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm even going to find anything. It's probably really picked over since they've been open Thursday and Friday. Now it's Saturday. And so as I'm walking around, I spot this. And I'm like, there's no way. There is no way, after looking for this long, that I have found 2 pieces of pottery with a ceramic glaze. Can you believe it? And look at the Art Deco handle, the lid. This was originally a percolator, so it's missing the aluminum coffee percolator bit that would go in between the lid and the pot. Oh, it's amazing. So I looked up comp prices on this. One recently sold for $129, one recently sold for $40. And then you can find different percolator pots by this company on eBay, but they are not shining a black light on them. So I don't know if, I mean, the one that sold for $129, they had shown that it was the uranium glaze. They'd shown pictures of it in a dark room under a black light. So I think that's why it fetched so much of a bigger of a price. So if I was not living here, I would 100% keep this for myself. There is no doubt about it. It's amazing. I love it. But I'll have to make a decision before Wednesday sale as to whether or not I'm going to put it up for sale and at what price, because prices varied wildly, obviously. It does have a tiny chip here. You can't even see it. And then on the inside, the lid is not chipped, amazingly enough. But on the inside, there's a chip, and this looks like a brand new chip. So I kind of think this probably happened there at the rummage sale. And then the decal on this side is missing a bit of the flower there on the yellow flowers. Or maybe just, I think it's missing a bit. Yeah, I don't think it's a defect. I think it's missing a bit. And if you want to look these up, here's what the bottom looks like. It's a drippolator. And they were made by the aluminum company because it would have had that aluminum insert that fit in between these two pieces. Made your coffee. Once the coffee dripped all the way through, you took that part away and then that went on. So 2 pieces in one day when I've never had any like I haven't even seen it at any of the antique stores I go to around here. So super excited. Super excited. So I'm gonna show you what else I picked up. Now I have not cleaned some of these items because health not doing so well. So I will get them cleaned before they go up for sale on Wednesday. And if you're not familiar, I do a live sale almost every single Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And you can always watch it on the replay and ask me if items are still available if you can't make it to my sale. This is a diamond point. This is in the icy blue. The icy blue is definitely a more sought after color. Originally probably would have had the lid. Indiana glass. Beautiful. And I never can resist a good piece of E.O. Brody. And this is one I have never had before. I've had a lot of E.O. Brody. If you don't remember, we did a deep dive into the companies that made planters and vases specifically to send to florists. They didn't do any selling themselves to regular people. They were a wholesaler for florists, and E.O. Brody here in Cleveland, Ohio was one of those companies. And this green glass is my favorite color because my birthstone's emerald, I think. I just love this color of green. So this planter was listed as a fish scale planter online. I don't know if that's what somebody just chose to call it or if that's what it was originally. Also kind of reminds me of a pineapple. And it's an E.O. Brody planter. Super excited to find that. I know that not everybody loves this green the way I do. This is one of the more rare, less common E.O. Brody pieces. So I picked that up. And then I've never had one of these before. This refrigerator dish is a crock. So this wasn't made for leftovers. The leftover size would have been from here to here. This was either Hazel Atlas or Jeanette. I went through my whole book 2 different times and could not figure it out because it looked like both Hazel Atlas and Jeanette used this particular kind of lid. Now this does have chipping. It was used a lot. This is Depression era refrigerator dishes. So there's a lot of chipping on the inside, but all of the chipping is on the inside of the lid and the inside of the crock. And it's just a really cool piece of history. And I love these lids that sit down inside. I have some in uranium, but not the crock. I've never seen the crock before in person. So, thought that was cool. That has not gotten a wash yet either. Then I got some little things. I got a little wood trinket box. I'm not sure why it says 13 on the bottom. I do think it was hand turned, but little wood trinket box. That's what the inside looks like. And then a little made in Japan trinket box, dresser dish. Has a bit of wear to the gold, but no chips, no cracks. It's got little feet. the iridescence here and the iridescence here. Picked that up. And then I'd actually seen these at the garage sale last weekend, or yard rummage sale last weekend that they'd had at the fairgrounds, and didn't pick them up. And then after I left, I'm like, man, those were so cute, I should have gotten them. And they must not have sold, and that stuff got donated then over to the next one. So I know it's the wrong time of year, but holy cow, are they stinking cute. These were a little hobbyist piece. Look at his little booty, little ghosty baby booty. So this one's sleeping and sucking his thumb, and this one's holding his little ghosty doll. But they're just adorable. Adorable. So pick those up. I thought I'd look these over well, but you know, those buildings at the fairground, they're not well lit. And so once I got them home, I realized there were 2 tiny bits of damage to them. But these are made in Germany. Now I've not wiped these up yet either, but made in Germany, little candlesticks, and they are not identical. So I do believe they were handmade, but the leaf right here, see, missing a teeny chunk, and then this flower right here, missing a petal. So I was disappointed about that once I got them home, but like the big roses are good on both of them. So little German candlesticks. And then, oh, you guys, this is gorgeous. It is a star necklace. Now I had to do some deep research to figure this out. Look at the AB stones on this. So the hook is marked star, and it looks like they were in business in the 50s and 60s. There was another company that gets mixed up with this company that did better jewelry. This was a good costume jewelry brand. That is a like better jewelry brand, but it is so stinking pretty with the AB stones. If I can get it hooked around here. So you can, this is at its loosest setting. It'll sit like that, but you can tighten it all the way up and wear it as a choker. So here's what this end looks like, and then there was the hook, and this is not missing any stones at all. Look at those AB stones. I know it doesn't want to focus on the necklace, it wants to focus on my face, but oh, it's so pretty. So I picked that up. You know, I cannot resist a gorgeous piece of 1950s jewelry. And then I got this entire box of rickrack and, is it seam binding? Is that what it's called? So bias tape. So some of it is still new in package. Like this rickrack is new in package. And then there's some where this one was really cool because it's 2 different colors in one. To me, this is very 1950s. And then you've got some where it's got several different things wrapped around the thing. The sizes of rickrack vary too, because look, this one's little, this one's big. So, got that. And look at like this one, look at this. And if anybody's interested, I will probably just sell the entire box for one price on Wednesday. And if you're interested in an item before them and you just like to know the price, you can absolutely email me. My email is always in the description box below. It is CAYE _ no, it is ClaudiaCayeVintage. So it's Claudia, CAYE, Vintage, VINTAGE, at gmail.com. You guys, I'm going to talk about my health in a minute, but I have had less than 2 hours of sleep. Okay, so you know that I picked up something for myself. Look, it is a tiny little Boyd's glass juicer. I only found one other one listed online, and it was the slag glass. I am not supposed to be adding to my collection, but I do not have anything like this in my collection. It is adorable, and surprisingly, no chips, no cracks. I hope you can see it well. I cannot with this glow. Oh my goodness. So I did get myself something, and one last thing that I got, there was at one of the garage sales, sometimes people don't even talk to you, like where the glass was overpriced, those people didn't even greet us when we walked up the driveway. And other times people just say hey, and then they'll go back to reading a book or whatever they're doing on their phone or talking to their kids. And then you get some that talk the entire time. And this guy was so sweet. He was so lonely. And he was talking about how all of his family's gone now, and he's the only one that's left, and they used to have these big parties. And he's, because I was looking through two boxes of records, and so he's talking to me while I'm looking through these. And so he had some costume jewelry, and he didn't say if his wife had passed away or if it was his mom's jewelry. He was at least my age, if not older. Now I know the one jewelry box sitting there, which was gorgeous, hand-carved soapstone, so heavy, I'd never in a million years would have shipped it. But so I don't know if the jewelry had been hers, but it was just costume jewelry. And I had looked through it, and I had found this tiny little ring. And he's like, nothing in there is real. And I was like, I love costume jewelry, obviously. I love costume jewelry. And so it fit this finger, right? So as I'm checking everything with the black light, like I always do when I get home, it lights up like a ruby. Like these don't light, like, I couldn't find a mark in it anywhere, but it's really tiny and really delicate. So I don't know. It's pink though, it's not red. Like it's a fuchsia, right? I don't know anything about jewelry. We all know that. But if you have any ideas, by all means, let me know. Super pretty though. So I did get myself a little ring. And that's my haul. Unless somebody buys something beforehand, it will all be available on Wednesday morning. So I hope to see you guys there. And I just wanted to talk about my health for just a minute. Sometimes people say things, and I know that they don't mean them the way they come out. Does that make sense? So somebody will say, oh, well, if you just got up and exercised, you'd feel so much better. Or like telling somebody who's suffering from clinical depression to just get up and take a walk. Never mind the fact that it's brain chemicals that are causing the problems, and a walk is not going to fix brain chemicals. So sometimes people just say things that are very hurtful instead of being kind and empathic. Does that make sense? So I if you don't know my history, I had a sign fall on my head when I was 22, I think. It was back in 1996. And after I should have healed, I was still having horrific neck pain. It fell and hit like here. And then I put my arm up to try and catch it. And it was a big, long sign. It weighed like 40 pounds. And then it had done damage to my wrist. And so my wrist got x-rays, but actually they hadn't done anything about the neck or head injury. So within the year, I started having pain in other places. And so I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So that was by 1997, April of 97, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So I have dealt with this for 27, 28 years. And if you've watched my history videos, then you'll know as a child, I had, by the time that I was 20, I'd already been diagnosed with TMJ disorder. I had been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. I had had problems with rotated kneecaps, lots and lots of things going on. So I'd already been in pain, but it wasn't nonstop pain. But then I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I was in total denial about having a chronic illness that was never going to go away. I was pregnant with my son by August of 97, so I'd only had from April of 97 to August of 97 to even start to comprehend the fact I'd been diagnosed with this, and I was just in denial. And so I was just living my life. I had pregnancy after pregnancy after pregnancy. I was raising babies. I nursed them all, went through a nasty divorce, went back to college, and I just kept pushing through. And then things would get harder, and I would just push through. And so there is not a supplement. There is not a diet. There is not an exercise. There is not a physical therapy. There is not a massage or acupuncture or you name it that I have not tried if I could afford to try it. And I just kept getting worse. And so I also have chronic fatigue syndrome, I have fatty liver disease. I have a laundry list. When you have one of these chronic illnesses, you usually have 5 of these chronic illnesses. They all go together. And I do believe that if I could afford to have the gene testing done, I would have the gene mutation that a lot of people with chronic illness have. And telling somebody with a chronic illness that they would just heal themselves with a good attitude is not only infuriating, but it is so beyond ridiculous, because we've done it all. We've done it all. We've done every exercise. We've done every diet plan. We've done every vitamin. We've done every supplement. We've done it. We've done every physical therapy. We've done therapy. We've done it all trying to heal ourselves. And that isn't the way it works. It was in your DNA when you were born. And it isn't just going to disappear. I have hormonal imbalance. I have all kinds of things that even people who have the money to go to the nutritionist, to do the raw diet, to take the $500 supplements, they still struggle with it. You're going to have flare-ups when you have a chronic illness and or a mental illness. You're going to have flare-ups no matter what. There is no healing it. If it could be healed by prayer, I would be healed. My mom prays for my health every single day for the last 27 years. So saying that to somebody is just, it's just an awful thing to say. It really is. We are not lazy. If I was lazy, I'd be having fun. I wouldn't be laying there until 5:35 in the morning, counting down the hours, knowing I've got to get up soon, knowing I have things I want to do or need to do or have to accomplish. There is nothing fun about this. So I'm not lazy. If I was a lazy person, I'd be enjoying myself. I am not. So last night I had a massive flare-up, and I think that there are a few factors, and it's never one thing that causes them, so they can't be predicted. So I think part of it was being active Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Wednesday, I had gone ahead and invoiced everybody after my live. And usually I just rest after my live and don't do anything else. But I'd had extra energy, so I'd gone ahead and done it. So I'd invoiced everybody on Wednesday. Thursday, ran errands. Friday, we went to garage sales. Saturday, went to flea market and the rummage sale. And then had to carry everything out inside myself because no one was here to help me. And so I think that I overdid it. And then I think I ate something with gluten in it because something by the same company I had been fine with a couple weeks ago, I did not read the packaging. And when you have a gluten sensitivity, you have to read the packaging for everything, and I did not. So I think that, and then there's been, the weather was hot, and then it was much cooler, like heat kicked on because it got down in the 40s 2 nights this past week. And then it went back up again. Today it's very humid, and humidity is really bad on me. So I lay there awake all night in pain. This is after taking 8 ibuprofen. Just couldn't sleep. Just could not sleep. And finally, the last time I looked at my watch, it was 5:35. And then at 7:18, I woke up. So that's less than 2 hours of sleep. And it's been quite a while since I've spent the whole night just laying there in too much pain to do any. Because when you're in that much pain, you can't focus on a TV show. You can't read a book because you're in so much pain. The brain will not brain properly. So you just shift from spot to trying to find some place where it doesn't feel like your bones are shoving out of your body. So I did not sleep, and then I actually got up and had breakfast and tried to lay back down, and nope, still in too much pain. So I just showered and slapped on some makeup and decided to do my haul and just do it in agony because it feels like my hip bones and the top of my femur are like grinding against each other as I'm sitting here. It's just agony. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And I'm trying so hard to be consistent with my Wednesday morning lives, but it's just so hard sometimes. So that's why the items are not clean yet. My plan is to rest a bit after I do this while this uploads, and then try to get the items clean so they're ready to go for Wednesday. But I am determined to do my live on Wednesday this week and Wednesday next week, because the Wednesday after that I will be out of town. I'll be at my daughter's cat sitting her cats while she's camping. So so I need to make that much money to be able to keep going. Oh, I don't know. It's frustrating when people are just like, well, if you just stretched, you'd be fine. If you just had a better attitude, you'd be fine. If you did yoga, you'd be fine. If you took this really expensive supplement, you'd be fine. It's just not reality. So, with all of that being said, if all you did was wake up this morning and you could not get out of bed, congratulations, you are still here. And we are glad that you are here. If you managed to get out of bed but then had to lay back down, good job for doing something, and then for recognizing that your body needs to rest. You are not lazy. You are not faking it. And that's just the kind of negativity we don't need in our lives. We just don't. We all have our own voice in our own head going, get up and do something. And yet the pain or the depression or the whatever is saying, nope, you're not going to do that today. So I love you guys. I'm glad you are still here on planet Earth today, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, be kind. It doesn't cost you anything, and it may mean everything to someone else. Bye, guys.